Good afternoon, everybody. It's Chris Frew with BioBuzz. Happy Tuesday to you. Excited to have another Ask Me Anything today. This time, we are talking about careers in automation with Kelvin Yeow from Wunderlich-Malec. Kelvin, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to speak.
My pleasure. We're excited to hear from you today. So just as a couple starting notes, as you know, BioBuzz has been covering careers in biotech each week through these Ask Me Anything events and these live programs. Our mission, our goal at BioBuzz is really to better connect the life science workforce with employers. Believe it or not, we've been doing that for 15 years since we launched in 2009. This year, we launched our Talent Lab, which is an online talent marketplace to better connect the consultant community as well as employers with part-time, project, flexible talent. So we're excited to further live our mission through this new solution that we're offering for companies. And again, I think this career series layers on top of that very well because it helps us to share all of the incredible careers across the supply chain of life sciences that exist. And we hear that, Kelvin, and it's something we were talking about earlier today. We hear that all the time, is that you're working on the bench and you're like, hey, what happens in automation? That looks really cool. I see Kelvin's team come in here all the time, and next thing you know, the whole automation is set up. So I'm really excited to present this today and continue our mission to better connect talent with opportunity. So enough about BioBuzz. Let's talk about why we're here today. Kelvin, would you mind starting off with just general introduction about yourself?
Sure. Let me go by. But this is okay, my name is Kelvin Yeow, and I'm currently a principal consultant for the life science solutions for Wunderlich-Malec. Previously, I'm also the business unit manager for the Boston office. I've been in the automation industry for a little bit over 20 years. I started my career in system integration from a company based out in Chicago. I was fortunate enough to participate in a large-scale capital project that is based in life science, hence the introduction to the industry. And it has been great since then. I've been working on many capital projects from different sizes, from large to small. I've been working with the customer directly, indirectly, either through as a consultant or even as the owners as well. And then fortunate enough to work on national projects and also international expansion projects. And then this career also allows me to started my career in Chicago, move out to New England, have a life here, and then opportunity to move out to Southern California too, to enjoy the sun for a couple of years before I decided to resettle back in New England and grow my family over here in this region. So it's been fun. And ultimately, Wunderlich approached me and gave me this great opportunity to start an office in Boston. This is where, on top of engineering, I get the opportunity to dabble into a little bit of entrepreneurial endeavors, starting like a teams, building up engineering teams of 20 right now in the Boston office, supporting the local customers, dabbing into new technologies, improving customers' technologies, providing services in the life science industry. So it has been a very rewarding career, and I anticipate this will be the same trajectory for the rest of my career as well, and for many who wish to pursue this career.
Well, I hope that today we can inspire a few other people to pursue your career.
I hope so.
Your career path in automation. I can imagine that 20 years automation has changed quite a bit. That you've had an opportunity to see, and I'm sure we'll dive into that a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
So just, could you tell us a little bit more maybe about Wunderlich-Malec before we jump in? So it sounds like it's a national organization, right? You're based out of Boston, but you've done some traveling. You mentioned working with some large companies like Amgen and some others that you've been able to work with across. So maybe just give us a high level about Wunderlich.
Sure. And then actually, I do have a presentation later on that has a map.
we can dive into it.
We can dive straight into that one, and then I can stop there and then explain who Wunderlich is.
Yeah, great idea. Well, let's jump into it then. And then just for all of our guests joining today, please ask your questions through LinkedIn. Annabelle is monitoring those, and we'll be feeding them to Kelvin and I so that we can make sure those questions are answered during the presentation. So without further ado, as they say, Kelvin, let's turn it over to you.
All right, let me see if I can control the mouse. All right, it's working. So, yeah, today I'll be talking about navigating careers in automation within the life science industries. Just flash out a couple of agendas. Here are some of the topics that I'll be covering today in this presentation. Don't have to go through it now, but you're going to see them presented shortly. And I gave an introduction earlier about myself, and now it's gonna take some time to introduce Wunderlich-Malec Engineering as a company. As you can see over here, Wunderlich-Malec is established in 1981. Our headquarters is in Eden Prairie, Minnesota, and as you can see on the maps over here, these are all our offices nationwide, from the East Coast to the West Coast. Wunderlich-Malec is a 100% employee-owned company. We are about greater than 200 million annual revenue company with 600 employees, where 200 of them are focusing on life science. Wunderlich-Malec has 36 offices with 2 manufacturing centers. We are involved in all major industries as listed over here in this presentation: data centers, semiconductor, life science, etc. However, life science is definitely one of our key focus area for the company, and then we are growing in this industry as well. So that's a very high level introduction on Wunderlich-Malec, Chris.
Yeah, that's great. And so I can see Boston. And from a BioBuzz audience standpoint, I see in Maryland. Is that right?
Yep, that's correct. We have a Maryland office.
North Carolina, I can see. So BioBuzz, right now we're in the capital region, Maryland, Philadelphia, and North Carolina. But we're expanding too. So this is a goal for us, Kelvin. One day I want to be able to match up with your red dots here.
All right. So let's see if we can expand the red dot as well. We'll keep doing that challenge back and forth.
I like it.
All right. So let me just continue with the presentation then as we go on. So let's look into the landscape of automation if in life sciences. Automation can cover many areas. It can go from research and development, manufacturing, quality control, and regulatory compliance. Automation revolutionized the industry in many ways, and just listed a few examples over here. It allows scientists to complete experiments with speed and accuracy. It does enable data analysis to improve processes and accelerate drug discovery. It ensures manufacturing with consistent product quality, reducing patient risk, reducing costs, and maintaining compliance, which is very important aspect in the life science industry. Ultimately, automation drives efficiency, precision, consistency, and quality in this industry. And then, so now we're going to go into the careers in life sciences. There are many automation-related careers in the life science industry, ranging from engineering software development to scientific research and project management, all crucial to advancing automation in the life sciences. I don't think we have enough time to cover every single roles over here, but I do like to spend time to just kind of like touch on the 4 roles as shown below and some of the key responsibility of all those roles. And first, we'll go into chat a little bit about automation engineers. So going over here from the automation engineers, they're responsible to design automated system architecture, integration, and communications tailored to specific needs of the customers. Automation engineers design using industrial standard like ISA S95, batch and ISA S95 enterprise control system integrations. Automation engineers are responsible to integrate hardware components such as robots, pumps and valves, and analytical instruments. And they develop the software interface to control and monitor the hardware, ensure compatibility, robust, and seamless communications. They heavily program and scripts in their work. So automation will write like scope and script specifically to program the behavior of the automated system and also the visualization. And then some of the language they use is they use IEC programming language like ladder diagrams, function block diagrams, structured text, and etc. They also use object-oriented programming like Java and Pythons to do their work. Once all the programming and work product is ready, then the automation engineers will complete testing and validation to ensure that the work product meets the requirements, performance, reliability, and safety standards. Once the work product is released to operations, then they provide the ongoing support for the automated systems, supporting from routine maintenance tasks, troubleshooting tasks, to implementing corrective measure, and also continuous improvement. A little bit on the automation. And then next, we're going to move into validations. So life sciences industry is regulated by FDA, and validation plays a very important role to ensure that computerized system is fit for its purpose. So with that, computerized system validation engineers is very critical in the whole work stream. That's also short for CSV engineers. What do CSV engineers do? They develop validation plans outlining the scope, activities, and document requirements for the validations. And then once done, they are responsible to identify and prioritize priority risks associated with computerized systems, such as data integrity issues, system failures, security breaches, and regulatory non-compliance. Validation CSV engineers develop risk mitigation strategy and controls to minimize risk throughout the system lifecycle. And then once that they develop the user requirements, documenting the basis of system design, development, testing, and validation activities. Once those are completed, then validation engineer will execute testing activities, include installation qualification, also known as IQ, operation qualification, OQ, and performance qualification, PQ, to verify that the computerized system meets specification. They ensure that the test protocols are developed, executed, and documented accordingly, in accordance to the regulatory requirements and standards. Last but not least, they ensure the integrity and accuracy and the reliability of data generated and maintained in the computerized system. That will be a very important role as data becomes very important in this industry and many industry as well. Then we go next to, as we talk about data, we'll move into an introduction of automation data analysts. Data analysts collect data from various automated systems, and they integrate them into a centralized database and data repositories. When data is collected, they make sure that the data are clean and validated to ensure accuracy, consistency, and completeness. Once data is there, they're responsible to analyze the large data sets using statistical and data analysis techniques to identify trends, patterns, and correlations. Once ready, data analysts will deploy data visualization tools and techniques to present findings for informed decision making. Their work doesn't stop there. With the results, they help identify opportunity for process optimization and improvement based on that. Excuse me. And then they develop and implement data-driven strategies and initiatives to streamline workflows, reduce cycle times, and increase productivity. And the fun part at the end would be for data analysts to leverage predictive modeling, machine learning, and artificial intelligence to forecast future outcomes, trends, and performance metrics. All right, so
Kelvin, I'm just curious, while you're on this section, are you seeing an increase in careers in these data analyst roles, or any of these other that you're seeing with recent trends?
I think over the years, I'm seeing new roles popping up in these areas. And then as we start attending like a lot of conferences, a lot of expositions, and we're seeing like more and more opportunity comes up in these areas on the data side. So I would anticipate more roles coming in this areas and more opportunities for folks to dabble into the data aspect of life science businesses.
That's great.
Yeah, it's an exciting world out there right now.
It really is. Lot of change, and I feel like you all are probably smack in the middle of a lot of it.
Yeah, it's kind of like that's kind of what's like I highlight some of the 4 key roles over here. And then the last one is pretty much tie everything back is the IT OT engineers. So ITOT and stand for Information Technologies and Operational Technologies Engineers. What they do is they integrate IT systems such as Enterprise Resource Planning, most people know as ERP, with Operation Technology system. Some examples like SCADA, Supervisory Control and Data Acquisition, and also MES, Manufacturing Execution Systems. Key role is to provide, manage, and maintain IT and OT infrastructures that, like most people understand, which is the network, the server, the databases, the software application, ensure reliability, availability, and security. Once they have that, then they maintain the best practices for system administration, configuration management, cybersecurity, to protect critical assets and data from cyber threat, unauthorized access, and data breaches. With I said the importance of data, now they will be managing the data storage infrastructure to make sure the data is stored securely, effectively, and efficiently and cost effectively. With that, they implement data backup, replication, disaster recovery to protect against data loss or corruptions. Then they establish the data governance policy, procedure, and standards to ensure that the qualities, integrity, and security of the data throughout its life cycles. Then just have one items over here. It's very high level, but I just want to highlight some of the skills and qualification for all these roles that I just mentioned before. Typically, engineers will have a degree in electrical, mechanical, chemical, computer, or biomedical, engineering. And then they are proficient in programming language, like I just mentioned earlier, with like the IEC programming language and then the object-oriented programming. Engineers need to have a strong analytical problem-solving ability to identify inefficiency, troubleshoot issues, and optimize solutions. And then definitely this is key, where every single individuals in the industry needs to have a solid understanding of the regulatory requirements and quality standard applicable to the life science industry. In like some of them would be like CFR Part 11. That would be a good example of people need to understand that in this industry. And then engineer needs to have a strong communication and collaboration skill, as they'll be working with multidisciplinary teams, including scientists, engineers, technicians, operations, and regulatory professionals. Lastly, for any engineers, especially including the one that working in life science, they have to be adaptable and open to continuous learning with the rapid advancement in automation technologies, keeping up with the emerging technologies, industry trend, and best practices as well, to help to kind of like focus on continuous improvement, to innovate and drive all sorts of different improvement in the automations solutions. With that,
Kelvin, can I
sure.
can we pause on that section for a second?
I would do that. Go ahead.
I have a question for you. Actually, I have two questions for you.
Sure.
The first one is, if we have people that are listening today that are in automation or in some of the roles that you just described, but they aren't in life sciences. I understand from you the regulatory knowledge is important. You mentioned some other things that are really important in the life science industry that you look for. What can you recommend that someone does, or is there anything that you've seen that is more attractive in people that are moving into this industry that you look for at Wunderlich-Malec, or that you recommend people do to, if they don't have that prior regulatory knowledge or the experience in highly regulated industry where you got a lot of documentation? So do you have any thoughts on that?
I would say there's quite a lot of ways for folks from different industry, kind of like if they're interested to chime in. And then a couple easy ways that I would advise people is start picking up, talk to people who work in the industry, because it's not rocket science as well. It's pretty much like understanding the methodologies of how implementing a project and maintaining a facility. I would say GAM guideline is a good way to understand what does it take to kind of like implement a good automated system through its whole life cycles, from conceptual to the operation life cycles. Just kind of understand in the basic level itself, and then after that itself, understanding a lot of the times in the industry that I'm involved, batch batch implementation is pretty big. So understanding S80 in industry standard like S88, S95 will be a great eye opener to with regards to kind of like what are the standards we use in order to implement batch solutions. That's another one. And then lastly is don't be shy. Just try. Let's talk to a lot of people. Even Wunderlich-Malec, as we are, we cross train our engineers. We bring in fresh engineers from school. We also hired engineers from different industry or a similar engineer from different industry into the life science industry, and it's definitely very achievable. It's just being methodical with what you do, document what you do, and then with a regulated industry is testing, testing, testing.
That's great. I'll throw in something else there too, Kelvin.
Sure.
Is come to the ISPE Math Showcase on May 7th, where I believe Wunderlich-Malec will also be talking about automation. But it's a great way to plug into 500 to 800 life science professionals who you can really kind of build that peer network from and continue to get an understanding of what it takes in this industry. So just a little plug for what's coming up at MAST, which again, I know that Wunderlich is a big supporter of.
Yeah, we'll be there, and then we have a booth. Definitely stop by if anyone wants to chat or expand on what we just discussed over here. And then we'll love. I'm personally from Boston, but I'm looking forward to see if I can make it out to Mass this year and kind of understand and also get exposed to what's going on in a growing region like what Mass is involved right now.
That's great. Well, I hope you can make it. The other question is like soft skills. You mentioned how important that is as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, maybe talk a little bit about some of the soft skills, why that is so important these days, especially for a company like Wunderlich-Malec, working with, clients and as a solutions provider, and what you look for when you hire.
Yeah, this is interesting, right? Like we are a very technology based company where or engineers are technology based. However, to be a very great engineers that working with multidisciplinary teams, I personally find it's crucial to have that soft skill, like you mentioned over there, being able to communicate, collaborate with others. That makes the everyday life better, and then it actually comes to it creates a lot of efficiency. And because when you communicate and then when you have those soft skills, you actually have the better design upfront. You have less issue during implementations, and then you're working together to come to the best solution as a team rather than individual. Especially when we talk about consulting companies, is a lot of times we need to work very closely with the customers in order to, from the beginning itself, understanding the user requirement, tease out every single aspect that you need to implement the project. Then after that itself, you want to design a system that's catered for the customer, not catered for our own kind of like purpose, or it has to be fit for the intended use. So being able to communicate and tease out those requirements would be great. And then after that, working collaborative with the customers along the way during the project implementation, that's very key. It's like it helps to get our solution right first time rather than iteration and iterations of implementation that requires rework. So I think those soft skills is key. And then as one I've seen is sometimes what I hear a lot in the industry is people say automation team is really hard to work with. It's hard to understand what is implemented. I find that becomes a differentiation for any engineers who have that soft ability to able to work closely with the customer and also educate them what we do as well.
That's great. Well, thank you. That's very helpful. I'm sure part of what we're hoping today is people get excited about what Wunderlich is doing and start to look at your career page too.
All right, awesome. Don't look too closely.
All right, I'll let you continue. I'll stop interrupting you along the way.
Oh, no worries. Yeah, I'm at my last part already where just kind of wrap up this whole presentation. This is a fact where life sciences industry continues to grow, and we can see that they always stop and go, but on a very high level, it is growing. And however, going forward, companies are expected to innovate faster, further fueling the need for more automation professionals. Career in automation offers opportunity to leverage technologies to advance scientific discovery and improve human health. On top of that, it does offer a high degree of professional fulfillment in advancement and job security. And then speaking from my own experience, it's been a great career for myself, and then and also afford me to actually grow a family over here as well. So it's a great place to kind of like advance your career. However, if there's anything that you're interested, if anything that I just presented interests you, and then you have additional information, you want to learn more about other careers or the careers that I presented during my presentation, feel free to contact Wunderlich-Malec, and I'll love to pursue this discussion, or come meet us at the Mass, and we would like to talk more about this. With that, I think that's kind of what I prepared today, Chris.
Wonderful. Well, that was a great presentation. But it's not over. You're not off the hook yet, Kelvin. We're going to open up to some questions that we got from our audience today. So I'm going to close down the presentation here. And actually, I'm going to, there we go. So our first question came in from Sarah Boynton, and she's asked, what has been your most rewarding project that you've involved automation? And what impact did it have on operational efficiency or other aspect of the process?
Yeah, I'm gonna be cheesy and say all my projects are great, but however, I do have one specific project in my mind where it is to automate one of a manufacturing facility using Delta V. So in this project itself, I managed to use a combinations of industry best practices, definitely focus on effective design, modular code libraries, and rapid code development techniques using scripting and database. Using all these techniques allows like a small group of engineers during that time to accomplish what would typically require bigger teams. And then the project was done in a shorter period of time than what it would be, because it was, as usual, any project is a schedule acceleration. And then at that point itself, it's always a satisfying moment when we release the systems, and then you see like the automated processes operated as designed, and then it's repeatable from batch to batch. So it's like, what's so big about this project? And then now the part is like, fast forward 15 years from that point, and this facility has cranked out like hundreds of batches and is still running through after multiple of upgrades. The well-designed systems allow like multiple product introductions through its facility, and then countless of recipe has run through the systems. And at this point, even at this point, I'm proud to see that the Wunderlich-Malec team is continue to support this facility and continues to implement additional project to expand its usefulness. So to me, it's a seeing project like this where you're part of the original inception, and then it runs through the whole life cycle and it's kept going after more than a decade. It's very rewarding in my sense. And then this is not the only experience I had. There's like a lot of projects that we're doing right now. It's this where you've seen the system that you put in and it's still running. And one of the fun things to do is you get a customer testimonial where it's like, oh, wow, I've run through this 100 batches without issues, and it really improved my life. It really helps us push through the product with ease rather than having somebody in front of the machine and just keep pressing the green button.
That's great. Another question that came in is, what questions or concerns do you frequently encounter from professionals in the industry when it comes to automation?
I think I touched on a little bit earlier. It's very common to hear that people complains about automations is too complicated. Either like you're just thinking like it's just like this big black box of unknowns, and it's always like a magic on the back end. So that's what I heard, like it's too complicated. And then sometimes do get complaints about automation teams is hard to work with. And then another one's typical is automation is too expensive to implement for a facility. Some of them here is just like, we do hear that a lot. However, my take on all these issues or all these concerns from the thing is like, it is about working with the right professional and then the right teams. You definitely want to find someone with the right domain knowledge, especially very strong in that domain knowledge. and then have a equivalent project manage, not equivalent, have a strong project management capability. And then automation can be made easy, customer focused, right at the first time, and built appropriately for the intended use. I think that's the right one. Is you're not building like this Cadillac system, or you're not building this really subpar system. You just want to build a system appropriate for the intended use.
Yeah. Well, I can tell everybody today that you have not been hard to work with since you've been working with us. So
thank you.
Lastly, from Sarah, what are some of the most significant changes you've seen in the field with advancements in automation?
Good one. So we see a continuous advancement in digital transformations, where I see like more customers are adopting new technologies such as cloud computing, artificial intelligence and machine learning, Internet of Things, data analytics, and advanced automations to improve their operations and decision making. Customer also start aggregating structured and unstructured data from their plan into the cloud and allow unified data access from different business disciplines in the enterprise to fuel innovations. At the same time, so with all these advancements in digitalizations, organizations are investing heavily on robust cybersecurity measure to protect data and prevent cyber threats, including data breaches, ransomware attacks, and unauthorized access. I've seen this is some of the areas that I've seen is big, and I think it's just gonna keep going and then fueling as we go charge ahead into the future.
Yeah, no doubt about that. All right, well, let's move on from Sarah. She always likes to ask a lot of questions. We love her. Barbara asked a question about specifically around sterile manufacturing. So her question was, for automation sterile manufacturing, what are 3 or 5 processes or areas where sterile manufacturers really find benefits from transitioning to automated processes from manual paper-based ones or manual processes? Like, what's the broader impact in sterile manufacturing?
All right, just like any engineers, I have to admit that I do not know everything. And this is definitely not my area of expertise in sterile manufacturing and automation in sterile manufacturing. However, because I get to speak with some subject matter expert in Wunderlich before this, it is great that I get some feedback from them, and all of them agree that automation in sterile manufacturing reduces the risk of contaminations, reduce the cycle times, increases throughput, and ultimately ensure highest product quality and compliance. These are some of the advantage that automation brings to the sterile manufacturing, and key part is patient safety.
Great. Well, that's why you have a good team around you, right?
That's kind of what nice about Wunderlich-Malec is whenever I need it, we have like a subject matter expert in many areas and not just the life science industry. Sometimes, as of today, I was in a project discussion earlier. I'm going to pull in someone from a semiconductor industry and just going to talk about some of the technology they implemented over there and try to see how we can bring that into the life science as well. So it is a great great groups of engineers working in this company, which is what makes it fun too in Wunderlich-Malec.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So Michael Norman asked a question going back to careers. What engineering degrees are the most sought after for serving life science automation field? And how critical is a degree being successful in automation? For instance, would it be beneficial for an employer to hire a biomedical engineer or a computer science major?
I would say, based on my experience itself, I've seen a lot of the folks that came into my teams are from like chemical engineering background, electrical engineering backgrounds, and then even computer science backgrounds. They become very important. But one of the things that I keep telling new candidates comes in when they interview for a job, or at least get advice on what you need for, I would say automation industry, especially what I do, is very unique, where it requires a combinations of knowledge, and then in order to accomplish a job, you need like understanding in electrical engineering to work with like panels, instrumentations. You need understanding in chemical engineering to kind of understand processes, and then all improvement on process. Like why do you automate a certain process? You need computer science to kind of like start learning how to do like scripting or programming, and then mechanical on how it's put together. So I would say like it's definitely great, but the best candidate is someone that can adapt after they joining it, and then being interested in applying all this different discipline into the roles. And a lot of times I find like the great one is the one that is just like sink into every single one of them. It's really enjoy like this multidisciplinary engineering roles. I think automation is definitely one of them. It's multidisciplinary.
Yeah, but it does sound like engineering is the root, the foundation of it all, and having a foundation in that engineering discipline and principles is important.
You speak better than I did. Like, engineering is the foundations,
Yeah.
and then not stick to one, but it's really like like I said earlier, it has to have a strong analytical and really into problem solving, and then willing to learn new techniques just to go into another level of problem solving.
Yeah, that's great. This is kind of related to that, so I asked this. Lance Larka had asked, what are your thoughts on people with a degree in life science migrating to engineering, and specifically in liquid handling lab automation? So I don't know if that's has any nuance to it in liquid handling automation space. It sounds like you answered that a little bit there, but any additional thoughts to how somebody might kind of move that direction?
I don't see this is my personal opinion. I've seen a lot of people cross industry or cross into automations, and it's again, it's to me itself, it's more like if there's any interest like in kind of like automating stuff, a lot of times it's more like going on a very low level first, where you're getting all the instruments to work together, getting the communication right, bringing into it, and then after that itself, designing like algorithm or automations strategies in order to hook everything together and run everything in sync. I see that when someone has that interest and has that ability to learn, and then really enjoys dabbling in logics, I would say it's not a big issue to get into any field, like not just liquid handling, right? Any single automation. It's just about like that interest level of dabbling into those other aspects I just mentioning over there. So I think that one of the usually the barriers, like somebody get in there, it's like, oh yeah, it's too much logic. It's a lot of zeros and ones, and then if that's the case, then that's it. But if someone says, oh, I love the zero and ones, I love the discrete, I love the logic, I love the understanding, then that's definitely a recipe of success. And after that, you can build on those skill sets pretty easily.
Yeah. Thank you for that. I think that, we hear this all the time, so I've got 20 years experience in recruiting, and we've recruited for everything from automation, every position you described, but also bench scientists and manufacturing and quality and regulatory. And we often talk to people that want to transition careers. And my feedback is it can be tough, especially if you're, some of the easier ways is when you're inside a company and you can, sometimes get additional experiences internally. But it sounds like moving into automation, there's definitely some core requirements in different fields. If you're a life scientist, like Chowdhury asked, I'm bringing this up because Chowdhury made a comment. He's a PhD in molecular biology, 5 years as a postdoc, working in drug discovery, and has worked on HTP instruments like automatic liquid handlers and plate readers. But he isn't getting any feedback on interviews. I guess he's applying to more automation careers. So I guess my feedback, not yours, is there seems to be some core skills that you need to learn, whether it's programming or the data science, or you mentioned object-oriented programming, or just the engineering principles that may not translate from a molecular biology background. So again, transitioning careers is not easy, but it is possible, especially these days, because there's ways to learn everything, and there's opportunity. The hands-on learning that we hear from our clients a lot happens when you're inside a company, and when you're looking for a new job, it's sometimes harder to get those hands-on experiences that enable you to transition. But I don't know if you have any feedback on that. Do you have any places you can point people to learn some of the skills, or any programs or universities or areas that people are improving or enhancing their skills that impact careers in automation?
Yeah, I would say before we go there, it's like talking about transitioning careers. I have a good example where a lot of times talk about MES, manufacturing execution systems. My counterpart is Andy Chan, is working on that. It's so interesting to see someone that has like a very strong manufacturing experience, and then if they're interested in migrate into the automation. Manufacturing execution system is another role. Engineer is another role where they're trying to find ways to optimize or transition from paper to electronic batch records. For that example, there's more than that. But that opens up like individuals that's really strong in manufacturing experience, kind of like know everything inside out, to go in from what they do into a new areas that is automation related, which is another good example where people can find the right roles. It may not be the traditional roles, like I listed all a couple of roles in the past but there are more than that roles over there. There can be a very specific roles for every single elements over there. You just have to find that right roles, and then if you're interested, I think that is where the natural move can happen. And then with regards to the resources on learning, there are a lot of resources right now to kind of like get into a specific areas. Just something crossed my mind is just like not speaking as like there's so many online university from vendors, Rockwell or Ignitions, inductive automate Ignitions. There are so many materials out there for people to kind of like explore. Is this something that I enjoy doing? Is this something that I like to put together codes and then put together like logics and then put together visualizations, and then how do I hook it up to historian? There's so many materials on the vendor side, and then the YouTube materials, even though it's hit and miss, but it's a lot of good stuff to start with, right? Getting like an early understanding of what those industry would be, and then seeing what people do. I would say those are a couple of like the interesting, easy access resources to do. And after that itself, there are other like paid courses and then paid programs from a lot of even from university all the way to the vendors that are providing those technologies. There's so many things that people can get access to say like, hey, is this what I want to do? And then get the certification, get the credential, and then hopefully they get a chance to work on the role that they target for.
That's great. Well, I encourage you, if there are any specifics you have, feel free to share them on the LinkedIn page at any point in the future. We'll take a look and try to share some of those as well. Out there, I know, careers and changing careers is always a topic when we have these events that come up, because and I love it because this industry has so many different career paths, and you get started in something and you're like, oh, that looks amazing over there, I would love to work on that team. So clearly people like Chowdhury don't think that the automation group is hard to work with, because they want to come over and join it. So that's one of the things of it, that when we do these events, we hear a lot is people that want to transition and try to find resources to do so. Well, we're coming up against our time. Kelvin, this has been a really good discussion. I've enjoyed it. I'm sure our audience have joined. I've been checking in. We've had a large audience who's been coming in and watching today. Do you have any closing thoughts for our audience today, or any closing thoughts that you want to share, either about Wunderlich-Malec, your career, or just careers in general in the industry?
No, firstly, thank you very much for the opportunity to speak. This is fun for myself as well. And then hopefully everyone get a few nuggets here and there. As a closing remarks, I think this industry is great. And then not just automation, in general, or like life science, working in the industry. I have made very great friends over here. Some of them continue to be my mentors and help me grow professionally and personally as well. And then it's true all the network that I've made within this industry. So I can't say anything bad, or everything is just so positive about here. And then in automations, it's definitely an area where it's challenging. It's definitely the conduit that ties the technology with the applications, and it's always changing. It's always It may not change in the light speed, but every single time you see something, it's always changing. It's always new things coming out. And then at the same time itself, we also need to be adaptable, because as any single industry, we are start thinking about how AI, ML, kind of intelligence application is slowly going to be changing our landscape. So we also want to be in front of it. It's kind of like, hey, how can we make it into a tools that makes our life better, and then how can we adapt with all this technology as well? So I would only say, like, if you're interested, let's talk more. Don't hesitate to join us. Don't hesitate to explore like what automation can do for you. It's exciting time ahead of us.
That's great. It sure is. And I would encourage everybody that is interested as well, sign up for BioBuzz's new talent marketplace, create your profile there. Again, we are providing access to not only full-time jobs in the industry, but we're providing opportunities for you to enhance your skills through freelance and part-time jobs, as well as consulting opportunities. So for those who are looking to kind of make a career change, there might be opportunities where you can gain some additional skills through the new BioBuzz platform. We're kind of positioning this, Kelvin, kind of almost like an Upwork for life sciences. Maybe a little bit broader than that, since we do, we're not just small like freelance, web development projects, but that idea that there's just a lot of people in this industry who work as independent consultants and contract and project-based work. We're trying to provide a better solution for you. So I'd encourage you to do that. I would also encourage you to come on May 7th to the ISPE MAST Showcase. I've been involved with MAST for over a decade, or ISPE for over a decade. It's a great event. You get to meet people like Kelvin. We get to talk shop. We get to kind of nerd out around, FDA regulations and how it impacts your niche of the industry. And we've got tremendous speakers. We have a career corner at this event where we'll be talking all about different careers, providing resume guidance, interview guidance, that sort of thing. It's going to be a great day. It's being held in Baltimore this year. So again, just while I have your attention, throwing that little plug in there. And with that, I think we're a wrap, Kelvin. Thank you very much for helping to cover careers in automation today.
All right. Thank you. I hope to see you soon.
All right. Wonderful. Thanks, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Bye. Have a good day.